Hey guys, Zeramus555 here, just coming to you guys with a deck profile, the long-awaited Six Samurai deck profile. I actually haven't been playing this much. Like, I was super excited for Shien to go back to 2. I think it was 2 ban lists ago now. And I played it a little bit, but honestly the second Shien didn't make that big of a difference. I was actually kind of surprised. Basically the issue that Samurai's always had with one Shien was that, like, when you lost the one, if it got banished or whatever, you're pretty much like game over. Just because it was like, this is your crutch card, this is like the main card in the deck really, and it's a card that kind of helps you keep up with the meta, and if you lost Shien, you were basically just like stuck in the water. So the second one is actually helpful, it just doesn't help as much, mainly because the game's just like changed so much in the 4 years since this deck. I believe it's 4 years, it might even be 5 now since the new support came out. It's been such a long time. A lot of people are like upset that Shien didn't go back to 3. To be completely honest, even if Shien does go back to 3, I would never play 3. Like, I would only ever play 2. Generally, by the time you make the second one, you've already won the game. So at that point, the third one would just be completely redundant. But yeah, I still love this deck. I'll always play it. It's a lot of fun. Every once in a while, you can sack really hard, and every once in a while, you draw butt. And it's still a really good deck. It's extremely consistent. We have 6 search cards altogether. And yeah, I mean, this build's pretty standard, still has not a lot has really changed. I am missing some cards in the extra deck, like I've said in some of my past deck profiles. I just don't want to warrant spending the money on them, or, you know, I have the trades for them, it's just trying to find them and get a good deal for them. But yeah, without further ado, let's get on the deck profile and I will explain my choices. There are some things in here that I'm going to talk about really briefly that some other Yu-Gi tubers have been doing, and it's really stupid. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't like to bash other Yu-Gi tubers, but in this regard, like I've already mentioned it in their videos that they posted, and I think they're kind of at the point where they finally, like, they realize that I'm right. So anyways, we'll get to it. So starting things off, 2 Kageki. This is the thing that people I've been seeing doing, is they've been playing 3 of this, and then cutting Smoke Signal to 2. That is completely retarded. It is so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. So what you're basically doing is taking out the 3rd Smoke Signal for a 3rd monster that you probably don't want to draw. Like, and a lot of people are like, oh, I want to open this. Then just play the 3rd Smoke Signal. That Smoke Signal is at 3, and it went down to 1 for like 3 formats for a reason, because this deck has so much consistency in searching its cards. The Smoke Signal is going to search you whatever you need at that specific point. It's not going to search you, I mean, it's going to search you the Kageki if you need it, whereas if you drew that Kageki and you needed it to be anything else, such as like Kagemusha, Elder, whatever else, then this card isn't going to help you in that situation. So just play 2 Kageki. You don't need 3. 2 Kageki, 1 Elder is perfect. Nothing more than that. 3 Kagemusha. I'm glad to see people are actually starting to play 3 of this again. I tried 2 out and I realized, like, it's bad. You need to play triple this. Like, I want to open this card and you know, a search card, or this card and, like, you know, Kizan or whatever, and then you can kind of get your plays going. 1 Elder, that's the 1 Asceticism target for Kagemusha. I still hate Asceticism, but you do need to play it. I mean, Elder also helps you make Naturia Beast, which is obviously really strong in this format. I don't think you need 2 of this card. I think if you're playing triple Asceticism, then 2 of this is okay. It's just going to be really cloggy, and this is like an awful top deck. Basically, you draw this and it does nothing by itself, so that's pretty terrible, but I think you still need the 1 just because it does kind of make the plays. 1, 2, 3 Kizan. Not going to say anything about that. He's your Swarmer. We have 3 Rotas now as well, so you can search him really easy. The 1 Kizan Asceticism target is Zanji. I don't play Grandmaster. Grandmaster is actually really bad. Like, really, really bad. I don't know why people are still playing him. He doesn't do anything for the deck. He's really easy to play around. He's not good like he was in the format where we had Solemn Judgment and 2 Warnings. He's just not a good card anymore. Like, okay, you can Asceticism Kizan when you have 2 other Samurais on the board, but then you're just getting an extra 2100 on board. And you know what, to be completely honest, like, I never actually did that play. I think of all the years I've played Samurai, maybe I've done that play like twice, where I Asceticism for Grandmaster. Like, it's just not relevant, it's not good. And he just takes up a spot. He's also not searchable, and he doesn't really open any of your Synchro or XYZ plays because he's an awkward level 5. So don't play Grandmaster. You don't need him. Zanji's really good because he's got a Catastrophe effect, and he just, like, gets rid of, you know, monsters that can be an issue for the deck, because this deck does lack monster destruction, which is something I'm going to talk about in a second here. 1 Enishi, he's the best card in the main deck. in my opinion. Basically get him on the board with an Asceticism off Kageki when the Kageki is another samurai in the field. So like the ideal opening hand is you want to open Kageki, Kagemusha, Asceticism, and a smoke signal, or not smoke signal, sorry, United. Really, really good opening play. You're basically going to start off with a Shien in this and 2 samurais in the graveyard, which is then going to make this guy live, and he's like your compulsory monster, which is really important right now. I've seen some builds actually running 2 of him, which I think is kind of cute, but I feel like it would clog. If I was going to do that, I'd probably run like another Asceticism target with him. Something like, you know, Irao would be okay, but Irao's really not that good right now. There's not a lot of setting going on, so... then the last monster I play is Spirit. You guys know I've always played Spirit. I love this card. I think it's great. Samurais has a problem gain over bigger monsters, so this kind of makes up for it because you can make your Shien 2,500, so you equip the Shien with this thing. He goes up to 25, and then whenever he destroys by battle, which is already a +1, you get to draw a card. So basically every time you draw a card, or every single time you destroy a monster by battle, you draw a card, and it just gains you advantage. I like this guy a lot. He's always been one of my favorites, but I think I might actually test cutting him out for Hand of the Six Samurai. I just noticed this deck lacks monster destruction, but Hand's really not that good anymore. But out of all the destruction cards that Samurai has, Hand's the best because you can recur it back with Double-Edged Sword technique, which is really good. It's also level 3, so you can synchro with it into another Shien. So some cool plays you can do with like this card, obviously, with Double Edge. Is like if you have this in the graveyard with this, you can Double Edge back Spirit, equip it onto Shien, destroy a monster by battle, draw a card, so the drawing card has already been replaced off of the the Double Edge has already been replaced off the drawing the card, which is great, so you don't go minus. And then the end phase, Shien's effect will activate, destroy this instead, and you will actually take no, or Spirit's effect will activate, I suppose, and you actually take no battle damage off of the Double-Edged Sword technique, and you're still left with the Shien. So you end up going +1 with the Shien on the board, so that's a really strong play, and it actually comes up a lot more than you think. The other thing with Hand is you can like bring back Hand and another Samurai. Use Hand's effect to pop a monster, either by tributing itself or by tributing the other Samurai. And then you can just like summon a Kagemusha and synchro up for Shien. So that's kind of a cool play too, but I feel like this is the more relevant card just because this deck does have a hard time getting over bigger monsters. So that's it for the monsters. It's only 12. That's just because we have so many search cards, you don't need more than that. Next up we have triple Six Samurai United. Not going to say anything about that. I'd love to get supers these, but they're too much money still. I'm poor. 3 smoke signal, like I said. Anybody who's cutting this down to 2, you are an idiot. Stop doing that. It's not smart. You're not being innovative. You're just making yourself look bad, because anyone who's played Samurai for a long time knows that it makes more sense, and this is for any deck, it makes more sense to play more search cards and less cloggy monsters. And I've seen a lot of people doing more cloggy monsters and cutting their smoke signals and stuff down to 2. That's just awful. Stop doing it. Play 3 of this. 1, 2, 3 Rhoda. Yeah, so 6 search cards altogether, which is totally fine. That's why you play like the small monster lineup, is because technically like these count as monsters in my opinion. So I'm actually running 18 monsters, which in a swarm deck like Samurai's is more than enough. If you can get some really sacky hands, this card's nuts in this deck, because basically you're just going to like always search out Kizan usually with this, unless you open up with this card. I do need another Ultra, by the way, if anyone's got one. It's actually really cool because you can like United plays, if you sack hard enough, into more Uniteds and Rhodas, and you just keep specialing Kizans. And I've actually OTK'd games before by drawing into more Rhodas, and it actually works really well. So 1, 2 Asceticism. I don't like 3. I keep trying out 3, and if you open 2, you pretty much lose the game. Like, it's really bad, especially if you open this card with no other monsters, or no Asceticism plays. It's pretty terrible. So I think 2 is just fine. It's more just a combo piece. It kind of, like I said, just there's really only 3 targets for it in the deck. Is you're going to Asceticism for this guy, you're going to Asceticism for that guy, or you're going to Asceticism Elder and Kagemusha, respectively. So, other than that, this card's really not that good. It's not as important as it used to be back when we had like only 1 smoke signal and only 1 Rhoda. So I mean, now that we have like 6 search cards, this card's not as important, but it's still important for like some of the OTKs, and it's still also important for getting out the most badass card in the deck, which is that guy. Now this is something different. I'm playing 2 Lances. I am not playing MSTs in here. I don't like MST and Samurai. If I get skill drained, that's just how she blows. And honestly, my Cleafort matchup is fine. Like, if they summon or activate Scout first and start searching, I obviously can't negate it with Shien, which sucks. But this card does more for the deck than MST does. Like, as much as I like Mystical Space Typhoon, I feel like with Lance, and I've seen a lot of other Samurai players doing this for quite a while, and I always kind of thought it was a good idea, but I feel like with Lance, this kind of makes up for what people will do is you'll summon the Shien, or they'll say you summon Kageki, and that's when they Fiendish Chain you, because they know that they can't get rid of the Shien without wasting 2 cards. So what they'll do is they'll use their effect negation card, or their any kind of responsive card like Ring of Destruction, Compulsory, whatever, on the Kage or the Kageki, and then you basically just have to stop your play. Now this kind of works the same way as Dojo. So Dojo is kind of the same thing as like I would summon Kageki, activate Dojo, summon Kageki, and if they say Fiendish Chain me or Breakthrough Skill me or whatever, at that point I could just special Kizan, and then I get a second counter on Dojo, and you can special the Kagemusha anyways, which is great. But this essentially does the same thing without me having to activate or summon another Kizan to the board, and potentially waste my Kizan in a situation where I don't want to summon it yet. So this is also really good because it helps you beat over bigger monsters, which this deck has a severe problem with, is beating over bigger monsters. It's always had that issue. And yeah, this just helps me get my plays through, and a lot of people don't expect it. So I think Lance is actually really good in this deck. I've seen Samurai players doing it for a while, and I definitely think it's a good call. Like I still love Dojo. I think Dojo's amazing, but I just realized that since we have so many search cards now, I don't really want to be drawing more dead draws, and like at least this card can save you in some situations where Dojo can't. 1 Book of Moon, definitely staple in here, and then 1 Soul Charge. I've seen some Samurai players as well not playing this card. That's also wrong. If you open up like the first turn Shien combo, which is pretty much always going to happen, and you open Soul Charge with that combo, you're making either first turn Shien or double Shien, or you're making first turn Shien Nat Beast, which is basically game against a lot of decks. Especially something like Cleaford or Necroz, they just like can't get around it because they require so much spell activation, and it just wins you the game. This is even okay like late game, especially in this deck, because now that we have Trishula back, you can make Trishula off this 1 card. You just bring back a Kizan, a Kageki, and a Kagemusha, and that's your Trishula, so it's really strong. So that's it for the spells. I have no idea how many that is. Actually, I haven't counted it. Onto the traps. I'm playing 1, 2, 3 Double-Edged Sword Technique. So I see a lot of people playing 2 of this. I think that's perfectly fine. Like if you want to play 2, that's totally cool. But the moment that Shien went back to 2, I was like, I have to play 3 of this card again. Like, this is an instant Shien. This plus Kizan is a 2-card Trishula, which is extremely powerful. And this basically equals any single, depending on what your graveyard setup is, this equals any single Synchro or XYZ in the deck. Like, this summons back 2 Samurai, so you can, and they can be the same name, so you can summon back 2 Kizans and then overlay for a rank 4. You could summon back a Kageki and Kagemusha and make an Armades or another Shien or Naturia Beast if you summon back Elder or Spirit. And it's just super good. Like, this card also helps you OTK, so if you have this set, your opponent like thinks they're okay, you pushed for a double attack with, say, a Shien and a Enishi, you can flip this card up, special back 2 Kizans, and then like punch for game. And stuff like that is like really, really devastating. Your opponent just won't expect it, and this just speeds up the deck. Like, I think that playing 2 of this is fine, like I said, but I feel that I want to see this card, like, even opening hand. Like, ideally, I want to start off with a Shien, this card set in, like, a Fiendish Chain. That's, like, a really strong opening. This is also good just for recursion. Like, once again, Shien's back at 2, so if we want to get that Shien back, you can bring it back, and then if you have another Samurai to summon from your hand that turn, the Shien will survive because of his effect. So that's really, really important. So little things like that people forget about is really, really crucial. 1, 2, 3 Fiendish Chain. You have to play triple Fiendish Chain in this deck. I always tried like 2 and like 2 breakthrough skills and stuff, but like stopping that attack is just really important. Double Mirror Force. I actually don't like this card very much. I think it's okay. The odd game I'll like open this as my only defensive trap, and it sucks because this deck loses so bad to monster effects, but it also loses really bad to big boards, excuse me, and big monsters, and this card kind of once again helps with that. So the 1 Vanity's Emptiness is a staple in here. 1 Ring of Destruction. I finally got rings. Thanks to Dalwin for that. Appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, this card is great in here, just for the pure fact that this deck does need more responsive traps, and that's one of them. Compulsory is really good in this deck because you can bounce back your Samurais and special them again for more token abuse, which is great. Bottomless and Solemn Warning. So that's it for the main deck. I'm just going to quickly fly through the extra deck because we're getting a little longer on this profile here. I wanted to keep it under 10 minutes, but I guess it's not going to happen. So starting things off, we had double Shien. I was going to go in order of level, but I just want to put Shien first. So yeah, don't play Samurais unless you have ultis. I know this one's not first ed, but yeah, this is the cheapest I could get one at the time. It was unlimited, so I was happy with it. The one Trishula, he's back. There's only a couple decks that actually make this card off of 2 cards. Plant Synchro, Agents can make it off of 2 cards. 6 Samurai make it off of 2 cards. I'm pretty sure Yang Zing can make it off of 2 cards. And there's one other deck I'm not thinking of right now. But anyways, there's not a lot of decks that can actually make Trishula anymore. And it's interesting because when this came back, everyone was just so excited. Oh, Bujins also makes it with 2 cards. People were so excited to see this card coming back, and I was too. Like, I love Trish, but that's because I love Synchro decks, as you guys know. And there's not a lot of relevant decks anymore that can actually make this really easy. So if you're playing an old deck like this, go get a Trishula if you can find one for cheap, because you'll be spamming it more than a lot of the meta decks will, which is pretty awesome. So 1 Barkion, and then 1 Vulcan for my only level 6s. I don't play Goyo. Goyo Guardian sucks. I still have him in my extra deck for testing, but I really never summon him anymore. Barkion's obviously just really easy to make in here, and Vulcan's awesome because you can bounce back Kizans to your hand for like plays later. You can also bounce back obviously dead Fiendish Chains, which is really good. Like, I love this guy as well, and X Sabers for the same reason. So he's just a really strong card. For other level 5s, we have Armades, Echuria Beast, and I'm still playing Catastor because Catastor is one of the most underrated synchros ever. He's awesome. He gets around Leo, which this deck has a hard time with, and I can make him off of 1 card, so why not play him? For XYZs, we're playing Shadow of the Six Samurai Shien. He's just there for more counters, and his effect actually comes in handy sometimes because you can beef up like a Elder, Kagemusha, Spirit, or Kageki by 2,000, which is really good. Ragna Zero is really good against the Cleafort matchup. Castel, obviously, is amazing. Diamond Direwolf would come out for probably Exciton Knight if I owned one, but I do not. Excalibur, Fistdweller. You can also run Cowboy as well in here, actually, but I don't Cowboy that much in here. And I'm playing 1 Zen Mains because the odd time you get this really awkward hands where you want to summon 2 Samurais to get your Knighted off, but you don't want to leave like a crappy board of like Elder plus Kageki or 2 Kagekis or whatever. So what you end up doing is just like overlaying for Zen Mains. And Zen Mains is still a great card. He's also really good against Cleaforts as well. So, anyways, guys, that is the deck profile. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I don't really know what deck to show you guys now. I guess I could put together wind-ups. I did pick up the entire deck again. I traded it all basically for my ulti Dark Arm Dragon, which is awesome. So yeah, I guess if you guys want to see wind-ups, let's get this video up to 50 likes, which I'm sure we can do really easily. And I'll have a updated wind-up deck profile for you guys. I could also, even if you wanted to, comment down below if you want to see an ARG list wind-up deck profile. It'd be kind of fun to do. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.